Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, and here on my channel we talk about a whole crap load of things. RuPaul's Drag Race, movies, I vlog, and I do cooking stuff. It's a whole mess load of stuff. So if any of that interests you, please hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment because we are getting there. We are slowly growing this channel, and I want to thank everyone who has subscribed. I appreciate every single one of you. You guys are awesome. I want to say, hey, come on, come over here, come and hang out with us. Let's build this channel. Let's get better together. And if we get to 500 subscribers, I will tell you about a very embarrassing story of me getting catfished on Valentine's Day. If you want to hear about that, please hit that subscribe button because, oh my gosh, yeah, that story. So we are back with the final chapter of 50 Worst Movies series. For the last 10, we're doing it this style because OBS is being a jerk face and won't let me pick up the sound. I can record it, but I'm not quite sure. So, coming in at number 10, we have The Crawling Hand. And The Crawling Hand is about an astronaut who dies in space and his remains come to Earth and get washed up onto shore. And his hand, it possesses the kid who found the hand, and the hand also kills people. It's kind of weird. But fun fact, Burt Reynolds tried out for this as a young kid multiple times, but apparently his acting was so bad that he was asked not to come back and try again. Okay. Do you recognize the older man with the gun? That is none other than Alan Hale Jr., the skipper from Gilligan's Island. The skipper from Gilligan's Island got in this movie. His acting was okay, but Burt Reynolds' acting wasn't good enough. Honestly, I would love to see the screen test of Burt Reynolds trying out for this movie. Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 17%, and IMDb gave it a 3.3 out of 10. And the director is Herbert L. Strock. I probably didn't say that right. Me and pronouncing words are not the greatest. And the writers are Bill Idison, Herbert L. Strock, Joe Cranston, who has a very famous son, Bryan Cranston. The film had a budget estimated of $100,000, but that might not be accurate information because it was a low-budget independent film from the 1960s. Mostly it lost money, and don't know if I would watch this movie. I may or may not watch this movie, but it is on YouTube if anyone does want to watch it. Number 9, this movie here, the buddy talking about this movie and what they show, makes me really glad we didn't do the other format of me reacting to it, because there's a lot of nudity shown in this, and with YouTube and censorship it just would have been annoying to try to edit that with my reaction. This actually was a blessing in disguise. Bloodsucking Freaks is from 1976, and this movie takes place in a New York theater, and the main attraction, Sardu and his helpers, put on a play that involved torture and the mutilation of young women. The thing about this movie is that the audience is unaware that these girls are real and the torture and their deaths are real. Torture, gore, horror movies. This movie would be really gory if it was made today. The remake of this, oh my goodness, I would have nightmares. This movie did get into a bit of hot water and was banned in the US for some time due to the Women Against Porn group. That ruling did get overturned and it was eventually allowed to play in the US. I would watch this movie maybe if it was on TV. I don't know. I don't think I would watch. I don't really like nudity. It's not my bag, baby. So probably not. This movie did get a 29% score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb. The writer and director was Joel M. Reed. That's that movie, Blood-Sucking Freaks. Now we come to number 8. Number 8 is called J.D.'s Revenge. And that's a 1976 film. It is about a law student named Ike, and he goes to a hypnotist show. When he's there, he gets possessed by a 1940s gangster named J.D. And slowly he turns into J.D. Judging by the way the narrator describes, this movie, the revenge part isn't really talked about or isn't clear or isn't executed, because he's like, and there's the revenge part about his girl or his sister or something. It was they forgot that revenge was in the title and then just put it on the back burner. Really, the movie just turns into the two souls just fighting for the one body. The director is Arthur Marks. The writer is Jason Stark. Glenn Tupman, who plays Isaac, is in a whole crap load of things. He plays in Gremlins. He plays Roy Hansen. He plays the movie Burlesque. Plays Harold Saint. He plays in Bumblebee. He plays in 80 for Brady. He's also in, most recent, he's in the movie Straw. For television shows, he's been in Hawaii Five-0, Love Boat, The Red Fox Show, Matlock, ER, Cold Case, and a crap load of other television shows. And most recently, he's been in Paradise 2025. And yeah, again, probably no, I don't think I would want to watch this movie. For number 7, it's kind of following along with the same, I think they forgot that Frankenstein is in the title. Because this one is called Frankenstein Meets a Space Monster. And it's from 1965. The women of Mars get destroyed by a space monster. And the surviving queen come to Earth to try to gather as much women and people and whomever to take to Mars. They're calling them cattle. Earth's only hope is a robot space monster named Frank, because military missiles seem to miss the space control center. So they have no choice but to enlist a robot space monster named Frank. So I guess that's why they call him Frankenstein, because he's a monster named Frank. He's Frankenstein. But Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 38%, and IMDb gave it 3.8 out of 10. Robert Graffney directed it. The writer was R.H.W. Dillard, George Garrett, and John Rodenbeck. There really isn't much about the actors in this movie. Marilyn Harold played a lot of B-list movies, mostly in the 60s. The guy who played Frank is the writer and really doesn't have any other acting references. This movie doesn't really have any public available box office figures. All it just says is that it's low budget with no record of its performance or even a theatrical release. I may watch this movie if I came across it. What do you guys think so far? Number 6 is a 1959 movie called Killer Shrews. And Killer Shrews is about a scientist that makes killer dog-like animals called shrews in a lab. And they start off really small, but then they grow to be really large with fangs and lots of bushy hair and long tail and and these animals are terrorizing a group of people that came to an island during a hurricane. Not much else is said about this movie on IMDb, but the narrator of the 50 Worst Movies, he kind of made a joke about it, which I kind of rubbed me the wrong way, about how these dogs, they had their fangs and then the extra shaggy hair glued on. They were basically tortured, and that doesn't sit right with me. Oh, and then he also says that this movie was actually made to be a B-grade movie double feature. But during my research, I didn't see anything that elaborated that. The director is Ray Kellogg. The writer is Jay Sims. It has a 40% Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.4 out of 10 on IMDb. James Best plays Thorne Sherman. He also is in Dukes of Hazzard. Not much is said on Ingrid Good. Just says she's a Swedish-born actress, mostly B-made movies. I absolutely, like I said, would not watch this movie. I don't support torturing animals. Number 5 is a very interesting movie called Great White. Let me say, there's parody, and then there's full-blown copying. This movie is outright copying Jaws and Jaws 2. This is the Italian-made Jaws, exactly. This movie has the scenes so identical to Jaws that Universal Studios sued the producers of Great White. Upon searching Google about this movie, I discovered that it's under 2 different names on Wikipedia and on IMDb. And the movie, buddy said it's released in 1980, but on the internet it's said 1981. This movie is also known by The Last Shark. I don't see any Rotten Tomatoes, but the IMDb is 4.3. Okay, the director is Enzo Gastrelli, and the writers Romano Bravo, Vincenzo Minon, and Mark Pini. Probably would not watch this movie, because really I'm not a fan of Jaws. I really, so if I really wouldn't want to watch Jaws, I absolutely wouldn't want to watch this movie. This movie is just a discount version of Jaws. The similarities are pretty uncanny. A sleepy town, a lifeguard using a megaphone, telling the people to get out of the water, a sea captain, body found in a sunken boat, shark biting off the tip of the pier, and then a bunch of different similarities as with Jaws 2 as well. In April 1992, a district judge issued a preliminary injunction stopping Great White from expanding its theatrical release in the United States, and they were also banned from making a sequel. It didn't say if they were issued to pay any money towards Universal or anything. Number 4 is Plan 9 from Outer Space, and this movie was made in 1959, and this movie is about evil aliens attacking Earth to resurrect the dead, and they call that Plan 9, putting the lives of the people on Earth in danger. The first thing I learned about this movie while watching the 50 worst movies ever made was not about the plot. It actually was about how studios would actually back this film, and the only producers that they could find was a Baptist church, and in order for the Baptist church to fund this movie, everyone in the cast, including the director, had to be baptized. Ed Wood has directed this movie. He has been on this list a few times. According to this list, that this movie did go down as the worst movie that Ed Wood had ever made. The issue with Ed is that he would almost always use the first takes of his films, so you would see a lot of shadows or strings or just people messing up or whatever. With this movie, the rumor was that Ed Wood would use anything he could find to make the aliens spacecrafts, like hubcaps or aluminum pie plates or anything like that, right? But actually they were really children's plastic model kits hung from a fishing line, and then in some of the parts you can actually see the fishing line, which, whatever. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a surprising 66%, and IMDb gave it a 3.9 out of 10. With this movie, unfortunately, 4 days into filming, the star Bela Lugosi passes away, and instead of recasting and reshooting what he had already filmed, Wood just used his wife's chiropractor. The chiropractor just had his hands over his face the whole time. I might watch this movie because it was Bela Lugosi's last film, and I think we should definitely do a Bela Lugosi thing. Number 3, this fucking movie, The Thing with Two Heads. This movie is a very particular movie, and it is about a rich racist person named Max Kushner who has cancer, and in order to save his life, he must transplant his head onto someone else's body. So they transplant his head onto a death row man, and the death row man is an African American man named Jack Moss, and because apparently there is no other donor. This movie actually seems really freaking hilarious. It's like this whole time, like the clips you see, this movie, you just see like the old guy like complaining, and then you see the black guy, like he goes like shut up. So like the old white guy, he's like bitching about things, and then the young guy's like shut up. It's so funny. Like it's pretty funny. And there is that part that I really want, and so it's him laying down on the bed and his girlfriend is there, and he wants his girlfriend to stay with him, and she won't because he has a head attached to him, and she's like, maybe if I get used to it, but I'm not right now. And then the guy looks up at him and he's like, oh yeah, now you got to go. It's hilarious. I like that. Oh, now you got to go. It's good. Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 0% rating. IMDb gave it a 4.6. Lee Frost was the director. And number 2 is Ega. Ega is a 1962 film, and it is about a prehistoric caveman who goes on a rampage because of his lust for teenage women. He actually, if you guys recognize him, is Richard Kiel, and Richard Kiel plays in Happy Gilmore. He's the guy with the nail stuck in his head. Alright, this movie has a 0% Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 2.3 on IMDb. Richard Kiel is a really tall person. He was 7'2". That's insane. Arch Hall Sr. directed the movie, or the writers were Bob Welching and Arch Hall Sr. Both Arch Hall Sr. and Jr. played in this movie. Arch Hall Sr. played Mr. Miller, and Jr. played Tom. I might watch this movie. I haven't decided yet. It would be interesting to see the second worst movie ever made. We are at the final number, final spot. It has been a long road, 50 movies. We've been doing this series for about a year and a half, and now we are at the final movie. Number one spot for 50 worst movies ever made. The incredibly strange creature who stopped living and became mixed up zombies. 1967. Well, that title is pretty bad. That's a very bad title. I think I even just messed up on that title because I said creature and not creatures. Like it's a title. It's a title. I definitely think that that's probably the worst title that you could probably come up with. It is a monster musical. Yep, I said that. A monster musical. The main character, Jerry, falls in love with a stripper that he meets at a carnival. Little does he know that she has a sister that's a gypsy fortune teller. Her predictions are the predictions that he scoffed at earlier. And the gypsy turns him into a zombie as revenge, and then he goes on a killing spree. When I was watching Buddy describe the movie, kind of made me think that it was kind of like the Blood-Sucking Freaks one, where they were like killing people in front of audiences. So I'm really not sure. It has a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.4 on IMDb. I found this interesting article about this movie on Reddit, and it's about the director Ray Dennis Steckler. Before this movie was made, or while this movie was being made, he was living in his car. He managed to raise $38,000 to make this film, and every penny went into this movie. During making this movie, he almost starved to death. So, okay. But you can find this movie on Tubi if you want to watch it. Wikipedia's reputation and legacy says when this movie was released that it was considered one of the worst movies. The 50 worst movies ever made came out in 2004. The series we're talking about, it put it on number one, but over the years this movie has become a cult classic. That's why it does have a 20% Rotten Tomatoes. Probably would not watch this movie, not because it's number one of the worst movies ever made, because I generally don't like musicals, and it really has to be a really good movie for me to watch it if it's a musical, so I probably wouldn't watch it. I think we have definitely gone through a journey, and everything is pretty crazy. I think that the 50 worst movies, the number one, should definitely be number one. But I would love to know what you guys think. Did you guys like the series? Did you not? I don't know. I definitely would watch Ega. I'd watch that. I would watch The Thing with Two Heads. Probably would not watch Plan 9 from Outer Space. Probably would not watch Great White. Definitely would not watch Killer Shrews. Maybe would watch Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster. Might not watch JD's Revenge. I probably wouldn't, no. Blood-Sucking Freaks, no. And The Crawling Hand. Probably not, no. They were movies. People gave them a shot. And for that, we commend them. And the people acting in them, they sure did act. It's been fun, and let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye, everybody.